my name is Yasmin Robles, and I am the owner of Robles Designs, where we create drill-worthy websites and brands for entrepreneurs who are hell-bent on taking over the world. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you the 7 tips or 7 crucial steps that you should be taking before you start building out your website. Whether you are building it from a blank slate, or you are looking to pivot your business, or just looking to level up your website, maybe switching platforms, these are the 7 crucial steps you cannot skip in order so that you're not rebuilding it over and over again. You're not wasting your money. So before we hop into that though, make sure to hit that subscribe button, make sure to comment, let us know how we're doing, what topics you want to hear about, and what type of website are you building? Are you building an e-commerce site, a membership site? I would love to know. And if your site is built, make sure to leave it in the comments. All right, so the 7 crucial steps. Step 1 is knowing your business. And simplifying it. So a lot of the, especially startup businesses that I work with, they want to do all the things. So they might be a coach, but they also sell templates and they sell all this sort of stuff. And they're really just starting out. They're not sure what their market really wants from them. They're not sure the types of clients that they will be getting. So ideally, you would want to start off, unless you've done some research into the target, you want to start off with a very simple sort of website. You don't want to offer too much. For example, as a coach, you could offer your personal coaching and maybe your group coaching. You could also just offer the personal coaching as well as maybe a free 5-day coaching via email subscription thing. So you could come about it in a couple of different ways. Typically for coaches, since we're on this track, it's personal one-on-one coaching, and then they have their group coaching and they have speaking. So if those are your 3 goals for the business, we can definitely make those the main things on the site. When you start adding other things, so for example, if you do that, but then you also sell social media templates and you sell all these other things that don't really jive very well with that target market that you're looking for, then it might not be a really good fit. So make sure that the very first step is to know the business that you're starting and to know that it is as simplified as you can possibly make it, especially if you're just starting out. Now, when you have been in business for a while, so I know a couple of my clients, they've been around for a while, they're just looking to redo their website. They have a better understanding of what is the most popular piece on their site. We can look at analytics, and then we can make the changes to their site according to what the numbers say. So always keep that in mind. So step 1 is to make sure that you understand your business and that you're simplifying as much as possible. Now that you know what your business is going to do, you need to know what your target market wants, right? You need to know your target market better than they know themselves, and this is kind of stalkerish, and you need to know what they're doing in the evening. You need to know what they're feeling like. So if you're a personal trainer, you need to understand that if you are going after, let's say, middle-aged, like moms, right? What sort of vocabulary are they using to explain their problem? Do they even know that they have a problem? They might know that they have a problem, but they don't know what solutions are out there. So you want to make sure that you understand the vocabulary they're using, that you understand the urgency for them, that you know what solutions they're already looking at that have failed or have worked, and you need to know just how they're feeling about the whole entire thing. Do they feel like a personal trainer, one-on-one personal trainer, would be too costly? So how would you speak to them in order to show them the value that you're offering? So keep that in mind and make sure that you know your target market better than they know themselves. You're going to want to understand know your competition really well. And I think we all do this in business anyway. We all stalk our competition and we all try to figure out what they're doing. And so you can stalk them online. You can stalk them. There's a couple of cool tools out there that are free tools that you can put their domain name in and kind of check out what keywords they're using. So there's SpyFu and I think SEMrush has a free trial out there. You can go and find these free tools and start analyzing what your competition is doing. Look at their website visually. What are they doing? What's up on their tabs? And don't just look at your competition that is directly at your level. So if you're a beginner and you're looking at other beginners, you want to look at those that are above you and how many levels above you are they. And then you also want to look, if you all are in that middle ground and you're redesigning your website, you want to keep an eye on the people who are starting out as well, because you want to make sure that you are if they're doing something interesting on their site that's working for them, that you're also trying to apply it if it fits, right? So knowing your competition is very important, and just keeping an eye on them, keeping a track of what they're doing, how they're doing it, if they're pivoting, and try to find if it's a good fit for you. You just want to make sure that it's not a surprise. You then want to understand your brand really, really well. So the best projects of a website that have come to me are when the clients know their brand inside out, and they know exactly the voice of the brand. They know the feeling that they want people to get when they see the logo, when they see the site, when they see a label or one of their products. Whether it's even the tag on the products, right, on the clothing, everything has to be consistent. They know the voice, they know the feeling that people get, the actions they want people to take. So if you have an organization that is trying to activate people to volunteer, right, about a specific thing, what sort of feeling do you want that website to give to people? And then when they're in that emotion, then what action do you want them to take? So getting off on a tangent, but you want to understand the exact feeling and the voice of your brand, as well as then your styling. So feeling and brand first. And if you want to check out a podcast on this, go to digitalhustletribe.com. Totally not intentional, but go to digitalhustletribe.com. And that podcast, Digital Hustle Tribe, I interviewed Danielle, and we talked about brand and brand voice and all that great stuff. But after you know that, that's when you dive into the visuals, into the styling. So that's when clients come to me and say, here is everything about my brand voice. Let's take this messaging and make it visual. So then when I step in, it's more of what colors are we using? And if you know this already, the website process is going to be so much easier. So what colors are you using? What fonts appeal to your target market best? What really resonates with your brand? Even if you don't have a logo, there will be a video coming up soon of whether you should have a logo when you're a startup, whether you should have a logo or just some text and some fonts. We'll get into that. But for now, just understand that you need to know your brand inside and out, and you need to know, at least at a high level, what sort of visuals that will propel that brand voice forward. Then after all that work, you want to do some basic keyword research. And I say basic just because it's a lot of work. You've already done all of this other research, but you want to still understand what your competition is doing in terms of keywords. So again, like SpyFu, and there's a couple of other ones out there that you can plug in that might be free, and you can start seeing what keywords your competition is ranking for. And then in terms of SEO, think of it as your buckets, right? So I know that you do what you do best. You're not an SEO expert, so think of it more, and if you don't have the budget for an SEO expert, think of it as your buckets. What are the top 5 things that you want to be known for that people are searching for? So it might not be life coach, it could be life coach for women, it could be postpartum coach, whatever that may be. And then make sure people are actually searching for it. You can look at AdWords, Google AdWords, and all of that for their keyword planner. You can do some basic research. As long as you have a high level view of the type of keywords that you need, it'll help you as you structure your pages, as you plan out your content, because you're trying to hit those 5 pillars that you want to be known for. Then you're going to want to plan out your pages. So at a high level, right? So what you're going to do is, at a very high level, you're going to say, okay, I need a home page, an about page. If you're a service-based business and you have, let's say, your 3 main offerings, maybe a general services page, and then your personal coaching, group coaching, and your speaking, right? So for me, it could be websites, branding, and courses, because I have my courses. I might have a tab up there for the podcast because the Digital Hustle Tribe is important to me, and so I might have that as a main tab. But if it's not something that my marketing is going to be really honing in on, if it's not something that, like, let's say SEO research, it's not something that I although it's fascinating, it's not something that I really do on its own. So I really usually just package it with other projects. So for that, I could just add it as a drop down because it's not really that important. Now, it is important enough for me to maybe give it a page, but it's not important enough for it to be really on the top, on the main navigation. So think of it that way. Where are you honing in on? Where are you marketing? Where are you going to make the most money? And those get to be top level navigation, top level pages, and things that are, for example, clients who have the a la carte offerings. Those can be all on one page. They don't need their own page. They could just, they're extras, right? They could even be placed on, so for example, website design and website support could be just on the website design page because, hey, you know, it's not as important that it needs its own page. So kind of think of it at a high level, like, how is my site going to be structured? What are the number one pages that need to be built? What are the secondary and tertiary pages that need to be built? Where does that blog fit in if I have one? Where does the shop page fit in? If you're an e-commerce site, you might want to look at, instead of the navigation as a home, about, blah, 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 you'll want to look at it as, what is my number one seller, my number two seller? So what collections, right? So if you look at other websites, they're always, their number one collection is towards the left side of the navigation, and then usually clearance sale, those are towards the right, because it's not as important. They're not going to make money off of those. They're just going to they're trying to get rid of them, but they're number one sellers. So for example, if I was a photographer and the most money I made was commercial photography and the least money I made was senior photography, then commercial photography would be at the leftmost top navigation. I might even try to hide the senior photography, because we all know high school students can be annoying. I'm just kidding. All right, so you have a kind of a good idea of what types of pages you need on your website, or at least for an e-commerce site, what types of collections you'll need. And then you will want to do some research into platforms. So from this point, you have an idea of your visuals, you have an idea of what pages you need. You're going to be looking at what platform. My first love is WordPress. I love how it's almost like Play-Doh, which I actually don't like Play-Doh because it gets really messy. I have 2 kids and I don't like Play-Doh. But WordPress is really great because you can mold it into what you want. It's a bit simpler as a developer to go in and customize it. It's just very malleable. You can make it as big or as small as you want it, and you own it, right? So you can take it from that hosting company to another hosting company. You can move your home around and just onto another plot of land. But if you know that you're not going to have the funds for someone to keep it up, you're not going to be keeping it up yourself. Maybe you've used WordPress and the whole admin area is kind of confusing to you. If you're going e-commerce, you could go to Shopify. There's a lot of tutorials out there about Shopify. You could go to, if you're a service-based business, or if you like the Squarespace platform, you could go onto Squarespace. Although I love WordPress, my website is actually built on Squarespace just because I want to make things easier on myself and my VA. She's not a developer, so if she has to put up one of my articles on there or embed this video, then I just want to keep it easy and simple for her. So that's why I have my site on there. And although WordPress seems to be at least the best one, or used to be the best one for out of those 3 for SEO, the other 2 are really picking up their game to the point where it's kind of more on what you feel better with, what platform you lean most towards. So they're catching up in terms of features. There are pros and cons to all of them. So research, and whenever you can get a free trial, like Squarespace, Shopify, I don't know about WordPress, but if you can ever get a free trial, go for it. With WordPress, you might go into WordPress.com as a free trial, but I have not had much success with .com sites with the WordPress.com. I've had better success if you go to something like SiteGround, Bluehost, and there's a bunch of them really good ones out there. And let's say SiteGround, and then you install the WordPress.org, which is an open source code in there, and you can create it that way. So think about your platform. So to run through the 7 things that you need to do before starting your website, is knowing your business and kind of simplifying it, making sure that you're not just, especially if you're a startup, you're not just adding all the things all at the same time. Knowing your target market, and knowing your competition, understanding your brand, what you stand for, what your mission is, what your voice is, your manifesto, and how that translates into visuals. How to make sure to do some light keyword research at the very least, that you are planning out your pages and your content. So just at a high level, like what kind of pages are you going to have, which ones are the most important and which ones are the least important. Side note, this will also help if you are DIYing your SEO, you know which pages to pay more attention to, and it'll help you with your research a little bit. And then you can just test out all the platforms, make sure you research them, the pros and cons, to really, because you're going to dive in and you're not going to want to take your website and rebuild it somewhere else or to another. You want to make sure that you are getting a really great site for at least a year. Usually it should grow with you for at least 3 years. So that is it. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Put them down in the comments. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, all the things. Follow me on Instagram at Robles Design Studio, Facebook, everywhere. Doing all the things. But yeah, make sure you follow me. Leave me a review if you listen to the podcast, digitalhustletribe.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video.